Welcome to the last edition of Posts and Perspectives for this week. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, and what we do here on Posts and Perspectives is to bring to you your own views and perspectives as you have written it out on social media. So we scan through the different social media platforms, especially our own platform, Souk News TV, on YouTube, Twitter, now X, IG, Instagram, and TikTok. And of course, you know I do this with my three G's here. Blessing, Priye, and Doc, who is the realest G. How are you doing?
This bias, where do we take it to? Don't worry.
Don't worry. Let's get right into it this morning. I'm going to be starting with what today is for everyone all over the world, and that's the International Day of Education, with the theme for this year saying AI and education, preserving human agency in a world of automation. Let's see what people make of topics of discuss for today. I'll start with this one from our YouTube page. Okpeyemi Adewale says, AI has come to stay in virtually every aspect of our lives. UNESCO came up with an AI guidance on how to use AI for learning in ethical ways. More attention should be paid to the human input in AI. Also, ethical use of AI should be emphasized, considering the fact that AI results can generate ethical concerns such as bias, regional alienation, and skewing of information to suit a particular sect. Another one from Love Praise Matthias says, AI-powered tools can help students with disabilities, such as language processing. And also, she says, the challenge here is that AI decision-making processes can be opaque, making it difficult to understand how AI arrives at certain conclusions or recommendations. And Dari Nasiwa says, Happy International Day of Education. I believe education empowers and transforms lives. Education has truly empowered me by opening my mind to new perspectives and possibilities. Let's continue to advocate for access to equal education for all learners. Hashtag education for all. Now, moving to you guys, I know you had a very broad and in-depth insight into this particular topic on the front burners, but let me start with Blessing. You know, AI, a lot of people believe that if we are not careful, that AI, as much as it has lots and lots of advantages, they believe the disadvantages in the nearest future is one that a lot of people might regret, especially when it comes to jobs, keeping our jobs and all of that.
That's why there is a place of upskilling. If we look at different jobs and even chores that we do in our homes, new methods, new technology have replaced certain. Before, when you want to, maybe if you want to grind tomatoes and pepper, some would use the mortar, some would use grinder stone. But do you use that today? You use blender because a new and better way has come up. So you have to purchase a blender to be able to take care of that. Same thing for certain jobs that new AI tools might replace. It is for those in that sector to begin to upskill now so that they are not left behind.
And mortar, you know, way of grinding your pepper. Some people still believe that you using your hand or the mortar is sweeter. Is it?
Have the energy.
All right, let's move on to the next story this morning. UK reaffirms support for Nigeria's fight against terrorism. Let's check out feedback on social media. Ose Maria says, where has UK ever succeeded in defeating terrorism? And Reka Titi Akirejola says, the right intervention will give us an edge in the fight against terrorism. And The Vibes says, we need more support beyond the walls of UK. Kudos to UK for joining hands in fighting terrorism to make Nigeria a more secure country for investors and bilateral relationships. And Mobilizing Nigerians on X says, UK has been an amazing partner to Nigeria in war against terrorism. Priye, do you think, especially with what Jose Maria said, that whereas UK ever succeeded in defeating terrorism, and there are people that believe that this is another way of, you know, calling on our colonial masters in, you know, inviting them to be in our business?
Okay, I want to say UK has actually succeeded in defeating terrorism because the kind of things they face as terrorism in their own climb is different from the kind of terrorism that the Nigerian security agencies are battling with over here. We allow these people to hibernate in ungoverned territories for quite a long time. They build structures and they acquire weapons to themselves, and they use that against state agencies, and they succeed to a specific level. In the United Kingdom, you don't see that kind of, or that level of terrorism. What you see is attacks on the streets, bombs explode here, or maybe improvised explosive device, maybe in the supermarket, and they always get to whoever perpetrates that act. And Nigeria can gain a lot from the United Kingdom. Even though defeating terrorism, Nigeria can do that if the political will, if it wants to do that itself, without the much involvement of the United Kingdom government.
Thank you so much, Priye. We move on to our next story this morning. Federal judge has blocked Trump's Birthright citizenship order, says it is blatantly unconstitutional. Lionel in San Francisco says Trump thought an executive order signed by him could invalidate the 14th Amendment. Just now, the word grandiosity occurred to me. And Tristan Snell says, no, you cannot end birthright citizenship by executive order. No, you cannot end birthright citizenship by legislation. It is in the Constitution, so you need a constitutional amendment. Maybe try reading a book on how the U.S. government works. Carlos Velatoro says, federal judge in Seattle has temporarily blocked President Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship. It's a loss and first defeat for President Trump. Doc, do you think what Carlos said here, that it's a loss and first defeat for President Trump? Because I thought this can actually go to the Supreme.
Well, I think Trump understands the politics in America more than people try to underestimate. And he has not minus word in saying that he will indeed name the support of the lawmakers to ensure that this works. And now reasonably so, because the Republicans seems to have a control in the Senate and in the House of Reps. So the Congress now being dominated by the Republican is a show that American could be heading on the same direction. But looking at the logic around what it is, and I think that's what Trump is saying, you bring in illegal people into our country, criminals having bets in our country, and then, of course, we're adopting their children and their citizens, which, of course, one of the issues that Priya spoke to just now, that the bishop was mentioning, that he should show mercy on people who will be losing their parent and the rest of it. I think that just common blackmail, and I think migration should be tidied up in the world so that this agenda of one particular community wanting to take over another should be a thing of the end. Americans does need peace. Yes. They need security in their environment. And without peace and security, development cannot occur. And I think these are things that will play out in the days to come. We cannot start to count losers or winners at this very early moment of Trump's regime.
Well said. Interesting days and weeks and probably months ahead, in the United States of America. Moving on to my last story this morning very quickly. Tit-for-Tat trade war could be catastrophic, says the WTO chief, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Monticello's child says just shows how much those economies rely on the U.S. Maybe Trump is right. And Rofoneji says everybody should build their country, so they set their own tariff. If Donald J. Trump has proof of trade deficit between the U.S. and any country, the WTO should work with him to balance the trade agreement or get out of the way. No more pandering or worshipping global elitists. Doc, do you have anything to say concerning this?
Well, Trump, I learned yesterday, is already dancing on the grave of globalism, and because that works really for me, and I support that chap who says, yeah, we should not overhype globalism. It has not helped anybody. Some people are benefiting and others are losing massively. We need an equitable world, and nations should focus on building their nations, invest in their citizens, and then everybody is competitive because we know we all need each other, but that does not mean we have to sacrifice for others to be well while we are sick. And I don't think that's a fair system.
All right, thank you so much, Doc.
Passport.
All right, we have to go, but it's been an amazing time with you guys on the show since the beginning of this week till now. I mean, I always love to see your faces, Blessing especially, because if I say Doc especially,
you don't have me. You don't have me. You can't.
Just from Blessing right now.
So protected, Doc. All right, we move on, and of course we move to sports. I'm sure you're eager to hear everything you need to know in the ever-bubbling world of sport, especially the business of sports. TC Barra is on standby to bring you that, but that will be right after this break. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, and from my Ghana people, I say, Makaye.